Most hip-hop historians cite the beginning of hip-hop, whether it be breaks culture, electro, bass, everything that follows. They cite the beginning to August of 1973. I contend that. I say there's always cause and effect, and every cause is a portender, an issue. In my opinion, the real beginnings of what would spawn hip-hop go about a decade plus before that. The Peppermint Lounge was a club that opened in Manhattan, New York City. It was a discotheque. Now this may sound commonplace today, but back before 1961, discotheques were a weird concept. Clubs were places to see live music. Live music were orchestras, Count Basie Orchestra, Nelson Riddle, things of this nature. But a discotheque was cheap. You could hire a DJ. DJ could sit down, play, or say sit down, stand up, whatever, play records. That's the point. Records are cheap, orchestras are not. So when the Peppermint Lounge opened in New York City, suddenly the DJ becomes central focus. Now there were discotheques before that, most notably in France during Nazi occupation when orchestras were outlawed. American music, Nazis didn't want that. So you have a party in the basement, you have a DJ play, discotheque. That's why it's a French word. That's where the word disco comes from. Once it comes to New York with the Peppermint Lounge, it influences. Other people want to be as popular as the DJ, the disc jockey. And in New York, well before Kool Herc started, there were other artists, there were other DJs doing their thing. Specifically, Plummer, Maboya, the Smith Brothers, and most notably, the father of us, Grandmaster Flowers. Grandmaster Flowers had a Richard Long developed sound system. Now Richard Long was known for professional sound, big heavyweight sound. So if a mobile DJ, not a club DJ, not a discotheque DJ, but a mobile DJ has a Richard Long sound system, he's something to be contended with. And that's Grandmaster Flowers, the real originator of everything we're talking about. And when he started playing parks in Brooklyn, this is where it gets serious. Now Brooklyn at this time was plagued by gangs, as notated in The Education of Sonny Carlson. With Apache lines as initiations, where you had to go through the Apache line and take a beating to be part of the gang. Well, these Apache lines, and Apache being the key word, really are the forerunner of everything. By the late 60s, when Grandmaster Flowers and the other guys, Plummer and Maboya, Smith Brothers, were doing their thing, Apache lines not only became gang initiations, they became the dance, not circle, but lines. An Apache line would approach another crew, an Apache line, and they would battle. And that battle, the Apache line battle in the 60s in Brooklyn, is where it all begins. All b-boy culture begins on those Apache lines. Now the thing about Grandmaster Flowers is he's bigger, he's more important, he's more popular. He's more important, why? Richard Long sound system. That when James Brown comes to the Bronx to play Yankee Stadium, Grandmaster Flowers is called on as the lone opening act. Now think about this. If Grandmaster Flowers is playing for gangs such as the Devil's Rebels in Bushwick, and their Apache lines are something to take part of, something to behold, a new culture that's not accidental, amalgamated, product of the music, product of the environment, just natural evolution. Apache lines are happening, and Grandmaster Flowers goes to the Bronx, to Yankee Stadium, to open for James Brown. This is where b-boy culture is invented, where it's born. So with b-boy culture coming to the Bronx, well, it's not b-boy because nobody used the term b-boy. It's just Apache lines. It's just rocking, the up rock. You do the rock. This was in 1969. In 1973, a new generation, you're a few years ahead. Younger kids, 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, are watching people do the rock in their hallways of their buildings. And it comes down to one person only that spawns it all. And her name is Cindy Campbell. Cindy Campbell, the older sister to Clive Campbell. Cindy Campbell has a little brainstorm about making money. If you've ever been in New York, especially in the 70s, then you understand that Manhattan has things that the outer boroughs do not. So instead of shopping for clothes on Fordham Road in the Bronx, she wants to go down to Delancey Street in Manhattan. Famously quoted by rappers later in the future as the place to go to get the new gear. She was thinking this in the summer of 1973 because back to school was coming up, and she wanted to figure, how do I get money to go down to Delancey Street to buy clothing? Let's throw a rent party, but instead of for rent, it's for clothes. We'll charge a little bit here, a little bit there for people to come in. We'll pay a DJ, we'll pay a man to do lights, make a little profit. I'll go down to Delancey. Who was going to DJ? Her brother, Clive Campbell. Now, Clive Campbell was very, very large for his age, the younger brother. So people were already calling him Hercules. And that is DJ Kool Herc, the founder of breakbeat culture.